Well, Anderson, the Johnsons were hoping that this video would give them some answers. There was even the hashtag on Twitter, "Give us the tapes." But it appears that this video is only providing more questions and very few answers. We've got a couple of clips from these hours of video we've watched. Let's look at the first one, and it shows Kendrick walking in from the right side of your screen there. He's behind another student, and as soon as he runs out, you see that student disappears and a couple of other students appear. It's from one image to the next with no explanation of how those students got to that position or where the student at that red shirt went. Now, we blurred their faces because they're minors in this video and the next. Let's go to the next one. You can see Kendrick at the bottom right of the screen. He's walking at first, and then he runs out of the frame, and just like the first video, other students just appear. No explanation of how they got to that point. You don't see them walk in. We've not edited these videos to just kind of put one image next to the other. This is how we receive them from the sheriff's office today.
In 2013, 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson was discovered upside down in an upright wrestling gym mat in Delaunce High School in Georgia. A team of medical examiners was the first to arrive on the scene, finding blood on the walls, floor, and some not related to Kendrick. The student supposedly hid a pair of sneakers under the upright gym mat, then attempted to retrieve the sneaker, but from climbing on top rather than moving the mat over. His death was pronounced accidental due to positional asphyxiation. Positional asphyxiation, or postural asphyxiation, occurs when the position that you're in prevents you from breathing efficiently. In January 2013, Kendrick was laid to rest. 5 months later, however, Kendrick's body would be exhumed for a second autopsy, and what they found was quite shocking. The teen was found with blows to the right side of the neck, consistent with inflicted injury. Not only that, Kendrick's organs was missing.
An autopsy report obtained exclusively by CNN is fueling calls for a new investigation into the death of a Georgia teenager, Kendrick Johnson, last January. Authorities at the time ruled it an accident, but to Kendrick's parents, that never made sense for a number of reasons, starting with the fact that Kendrick's body was found inside a rolled-up wrestling mat in his high school gym. Now, a second independent autopsy paid for by Kendrick's parents says his death was not an accident at all. Victor Blackwell has been following the story for months, and we want to warn you, in his report there is a photo of Kendrick taken after his death, and it may be disturbing to some viewers. Here's Victor's report.
In June, at his parents' request, Kendrick's body was exhumed and taken to Florida for a second independent autopsy. This time, the findings were dramatically different. The report, obtained exclusively by CNN, cites the cause of death as unexplained, apparent, non-accidental blunt force trauma, blows to the neck, not an accident. Despite the new report, the state and local authorities stand behind their findings. Supporters for Kendrick's family are calling for a Department of Justice investigation, and Kenneth Johnson says he will not stop until he finds the person who killed his son.
No matter who you are, how much money your parents have, the color of your skin, everyone deserves justice. Everyone.
Now, a Channel 2 Action News investigation into the mystery surrounding the death of a Valdosta teenager found in an upright gym mat at school. Two young men at the focus of the Kendrick Johnson controversy have declined to talk to investigators, a grand jury, and an on-camera interview until now. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie live outside FBI headquarters in DeKalb County with these exclusive interviews. Mark?
And at last check, this case remained a focus of federal investigation. But we are outside the FBI's Atlanta field office because that is where we're told Agent Rick Bell was assigned, and both his sons are the subject of target letters from a federal prosecutor. And now we hear from them at last.
I'm going to ask my photographer to push in tight on your face.
Okay.
Our viewers can read your expression.
Brian and Brandon Bell was in the center of attention due to rumors going around the school. Kendrick was supposedly talking to a girl one of the brothers was also talking to. Although this case is still cold, this is a crucial piece of evidence.
Did you have anything to do with the death of Kendrick Johnson?
No. He was like one of my good friends.
They say pictures can say 100 words. Well, a video should say much more. If this was your good friend, one would vocalize a lot more, being that you guys must have shared moments together. One would empathize, more than a random stranger they knew nothing about.
Even at the time of his death?
Even at the time of his death.
You know, every word we broadcast of this is going to be scrutinized by the blogosphere, the Twitter sphere, and so on.
Yes, sir. It should be. And I want everybody to know the truth. And I mean, they can ridicule me and they can say whatever they want, but in the end, the truth will prevail. And everybody will find that me and my brother have been innocent and always will be innocent.
More confident, postural, ready to refute the allegations further, and locked eye contact. All the signs of an innocent person.
We've just heard what family attorneys acknowledge sheriff's deputies, the GBI, and a federal grand jury have not heard. Brothers Brian and Brandon Bell answering questions, no holds barred, about the mysterious death of Kendrick Johnson in 2013.
He was the laughter of our house. He was the joy of our house, and he gives us strength to keep fighting.
The Lowndes County Sheriff says after a thorough investigation, his office agrees with the state medical examiner that Johnson's death was an accident due to positional asphyxia, that he wedged himself in a rolled-up gym mat trying to reach a shoe and could not get out. But Kendrick Johnson's mom takes issue with that.
Are you more convinced today than ever that KJ was the victim of foul play?
Yes.
And with some of what the Bells say.
No, they weren't friends.
And in a lawsuit, Johnson's parents allege a group, including the Bell brothers, sons of an FBI agent, violently assaulted their son, leading to his death.
None of the allegations that were made were without research.
But both Bells maintain they have rock-solid alibis.
Did you see Kendrick Johnson?
No, sir, not at any point during that day.
Where were you?
I was in class. First block, second block, third block, and fourth block.
Close to the gym?
Watch closely how Brian Bell answers the next following question.
No.
Did you see Kendrick that day?
No. I did not.
You can tell Brian is lying. Brian drops eye contact multiple times, most likely in an attempt to avoid pressure. Brian seems confident in where he was, but not confident in whether he saw Kendrick that day.
I was in class, first block, second block, third block, and fourth block.
Did you see Kendrick that day?
No. I did not.
The suit suggests the brothers sought revenge for a brief fight between Brian and Kendrick on a team bus.
A year before, I mean,
What was
we're
that
still
about,
friends.
anyway?
So I can't even remember. I mean, it was so small to us, like it was ridiculous.
Despite all the evidence that was gathered, Brian getting into an altercation with Kendrick prior, this mysterious girl who supposedly have something to do with this. Let's not forget logic itself. The boy's father being an FBI agent. The edited videos that was released to the public. The lack of care for the forensic crime scene. The lack of effort in general. Remember, the most substantial clues we acquired all came from the parents themselves. They paid for that second autopsy. When the police said it was an accident, they proved it wasn't consistent with asphyxiation, but rather inflicted injury. Brian nor Brandon was looked into any further. Despite the facts present, Nobody was charged in the death of Kendrick Johnson, but there still is faith. In March 2021, a retired local sheriff by the name of Pollock decides to reopen the case.
We did want to talk to you about the reopening of the Johnson case. What's going on now to reopen?
We officially reopened it Friday. We started trying to obtain all the federal investigative documents. First letter I wrote was the 2nd of April in 2019, and they subsequently, a couple of months later, denied giving us anything. And to the Johnson family credit, they kept pursuing it. They had some allies that had some influence, and right before Christmas, I got a pretty good Christmas present. I got a call from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Ohio, where it was based now. The case was based. And they were going to release the documents to us, and we got them approximately 2 months later. Of course, I don't know if you're aware, but they came with a order from the federal judge that the documents were sealed. So actually, if I find anything I find in those documents, I cannot discuss in any detail whatsoever when we close the case eventually, unless he lifts that order. I can tell you there's 17 boxes, what I call filing cabinet boxes, of printed material, towers, and hard drives. Quite a bit of evidence from the federal government. And of course, what we plan to do, this will be the first time anybody's had everybody's evidence in one place.
Yeah.
So I'm planning we're going to go through every bit of it. If we find a contradiction, we're going to resolve any contradiction or try to. And I'm not saying anybody's done anything wrong. We want to compile everything and see if anybody's missed anything, or just put it all together. And I'm gonna lead it myself. I'm gonna be totally involved in it, because I'm gonna be the one. When this is over, I'm gonna have to look people in the eye and say, "This is what I feel like I know it to be."
Okay.
And it's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take a lot of effort, a lot of manpower. We're going to use some of the same people who have done it before, of course. We're going to have some fresh faces. We're not going into it with a predisposed opinion. You never do that in any investigation. I mean, this is going to be treated just like a brand new case. And it'll take a lot of work. But I don't know how much you know about me. I've been a sheriff for 21 years, and I deal in facts. I deal in honesty. I'm very transparent, but I want to be able to say myself exactly what I know, not what somebody told me. We're going to have to re-interview some of these people, because you read a sheet of paper about what somebody says, you can't get their facial expressions, you can't get their inflection of their voice to really know and feel confident about what they're telling you is the truth or not the truth.
Well, there you have it. Was Kendrick's death an accident? Or was it a homicide? I will leave the GoFundMe in the comment section. Feel free to leave your thoughts as well. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Peace.